Me and my family and my little dog Charlie moved into this house. The real estate agent of this house told me that no one has bought the house for 40 years because every person that moved in just disappeared in a year or less. But I wasn't really worried. Me and my family would be okay in this house. Once I was in the house, everything, and I mean everything, was okay. The living room, the bathroom, the rooms. But something was very weird. The real estate agent never mentioned a basement. And also, the tree that was in my backyard. It was really too big to be a tree. So I called someone to cut it down. He came in a jiff. He went outside to cut it down. I was in my computer. I heard a loud chop and then silence. As I went to go check, the axe had been next to the tree and the guy who was gonna cut it down disappeared. I was totally baffled. That night, a letter was in my bed. My wife was showering. As I read that letter, I was completely shocked. It said, "Paul, try to cut me down, and I will cut down you." When I read that, I called the police. The police asked me, "Can you describe him?" And I just told them, "I can't. I didn't really see him, but he just threatened me with a note." And the police answered, "There's nothing we can do," and hanged up. I was so pissed off by then. I decided to get a camera system everywhere in the goddamn house, even the backyard. That night, my dog Charlie was barking so loud I couldn't get to sleep until he stopped barking. That next morning, I woke up, went to go check the camera system. As I was going down the stairs, the backyard door was open. As fast as I could, I went to go check the camera. As I was seeing the camera, my dog opened the door. I couldn't believe that. That was impossible. He then was barking at the tree. And then the camera went off and turned back on. And Charlie disappeared. I think he wandered off, but I was still worried. I checked the camera. It was okay. No reason to turn off. 3 days had passed. Charlie disappeared. My kids were so sad. They couldn't believe that their dog had disappeared. I felt miserable. But for some reason, my kids loved the tree. They loved it so much. Every time they wanted to be with the tree. Until they told me that the tree had been talking to them and telling them things that I have never even told them. That got me scared a lot. Until one day, my wife screamed. As I was going down the stairs, I asked her, "What happened?" And she answered, "The kids disappeared." I told her, "No, that can't be. We checked all the house, and the kids weren't there." We called the police as fast as we could, asking them to find them. A week has passed. I was depressed. I couldn't believe that everything went down on me. And on my front door appeared a plain disc. I put the disc on my computer. What that disc contained is things that I didn't want to mention. All of the kids deformed. What all the kids had in common was their lungs were out of their stomach and their eyes were gouged out. That was the worst thing I have ever seen. It almost gave me a feeling of vomiting and paranoia. And then a scream was coming from downstairs. I went running and it was my wife's scream as the tree sucked my wife in. And then everything went blank for me. I then crawled on the ground, rolling myself, that I couldn't believe that everything, the tree had taken everything I loved. I was rolling on the ground, couldn't believe anything. I was screaming at myself, and then the phone rang. I slowly went to the phone, and I answered it. And the voice said, "Paul, I have a surprise for you in the basement." I knew it was a joke, because the basement was locked. But when I went there, the chain had been removed. As I was going downstairs, everything that I saw there was a nightmare for me. I then started crying. And then I started screaming at everything. My wife, my daughter, my son, my dog Charlie, and the man who was supposed to cut down my tree, and all of the other kids from that horrible DVD. I just kept crying and screaming, and I told the tree to take me and not them. But no scream could bring them back. No scream could bring that back. I couldn't believe. My faith went down. I wanted to kill myself. But no, I saw the letter on my son's hand. And it said, "Look what you have done, Paul." But I immediately turned on a match and I burned the house down, hoping that it would take the tree with it. A year passed. Now I live alone, by myself, away from everything. But one day it had found me. And out my window you could see a tree was growing in my backyard. Next time you think of growing a tree, think about it. It won't end up as you think it will.